Hello everybody, my name is Necroxis. Welcome back to our next Shadowlands animation. This one is about Afterlives Ardenweald. Excuse me, I couldn't remember what the name was off the top of my head. So this is the third out of the 4 animations. I've seen some rumblings on the internet that some people are like, oh, well, Lords of War had a secret 5th animation about Murad. Maybe we'll have one here. That would be cool, but I'm not expecting that, to be honest. But anyway, this one is about Ardenweald, and I don't know who it's about. I think it's about one of the Fawn, I believe, or one of the satyr-looking people, the Sylvar, or both, or the Winter Queen. I don't actually know, but let me just say real quick. Last week, the Draco video was more controversial and spurred more discussion than I thought. Unfortunately, the discussion was about fighting over whether Draka is a good character or not, and I don't know, man. Suffice it to say, if you're someone who defends everything Blizzard does, I guess I understand why you also would defend this, because that's your MO. But I will say that without rehashing most of what I said, I do find it interesting that I repeated my main point 3 times, and yet I had a bunch of people mischaracterizing what I was saying. Just real quick, I wasn't saying that the animation was bad because Draka was bad because Draka doesn't have any past history. I never said she was a bad character because she didn't have much going on, and I never said she was a bad character because she is relatively unknown and doesn't have a lot of development. I said Draka was boring because she's not interesting, and the animations need to do one thing. It either needs to make you interested in the story of the zone that's going on, or it needs to make you interested in the character. And before the animation, Draka was boring, and after the animation, Draka was boring, and even knowing all the spoilers of Maldraxxus, the animation was a confusing mess, kind of. And that's not even to get into the whole Blizzard reused 1.5 seconds of the Illidan short, and then when called out on it, tried to then canonize the idea that she went to a Legion world off camera, and that whole giant can of worms that they just randomly threw open just because someone said, hey, did you reuse 1.5 seconds of animation, which on its own doesn't actually matter and I don't care about. But then the fact that they had to then excuse that in such an absurd way to then introduce such a crazy story element out of the game by the developers after the fact, it's just, Blizzard needs to get their community developers back, because the devs, they don't know when to stop and what to say, and they'll say anything to defend themselves. And this is the second time in about a month that a developer has said something outside of the game on Twitter that has introduced a gigantic hole in the plot of the game. So I don't know. But this one's going to be about Ardenweald. I'm actually Ardenweald is interesting because I think the zone itself is cool, and I think the story of the zone is cool. I'm just disappointed that the Covenant storyline at max level seems to have nothing to do with the other 3 Covenant storylines and the storyline at large. And I wish that they would have changed that. And maybe they somehow can still, but who knows. But anyway, we're going to get into it. And again, I have no expectations. I have no idea what this is going to be about. So I'm excited. So we're going to start this now in 3, 2, 1, now. Oh, this is Ursoc.
The Nightmare's Veil.
Yeah, Ursoc from the Emerald Nightmare raid.
I return at last to the long slumber.
Ursoc got real fucked in this franchise.
Until I may serve the wilds again.
I love how Ardenweald looks. I love how the trees look. Oh, look at him. He's such a cutie. Oh, so is this going to be exploring how the Loa are reborn? Because I liked that storyline from Ardenweald and the Covenant storyline with the wild seeds. There they are. So he's tending to Ursoc's wild seed.
Welcome to my grove, friend.
Is that?
My queen. I shall protect these souls through their winter. I shall see them reborn in their spring. No matter what trial I face. I swear it, my queen. I swear
The
it.
Winter Queen looks so cool.
Rest well.
Also, is that Max
And
Middleman?
dream.
It kind of sounds like him. I love his voice actor. Or I love him as a voice actor.
Season after season of this drought. Here. Here. It's so little. I know.
So his grove's dying.
It must be done. Reclaim everything from this grove. Everything.
No! This is my grove! You will not destroy them!
Ara'lon, we are not your enemy.
Anyone who threatens my
Ara'lon.
grove is my enemy. I swore an oath.
Ooh.
My queen. I kept faith all this time that you would save us. And now you send
Are these the wild ones?
scavengers to my
They gotta
grove.
be.
Why?
You saw what is to come.
Ardenweald is dying.
It must be saved. The Queen has called the Wild Hunt.
We have culled your grove, so that others might live.
Will you sacrifice one
Oh,
soul
no!
for the forest entire? Or will you keep your oath?
Not Ursoc.
Your heart is pure. I will
Look how
honor
sad she is.
your choice.
I'm gonna cry.
One last time, you serve the wilds. You will not be forgotten. Forgive me, friend.
Oh no, that's not fair.
I will hunt for you, my queen. For Ardenweald. And for the souls we can yet save. I swear it. I swear it.
Oh, stop this with the feels. Oh, man, Ursoc, fuck. So he's just dead. He's permanently gone. Because if you die in the Shadowlands, you're gone forever. And I know people have made like a meme like, whoa, how can you die in the Shadowlands? We're clever. But if you die in the Shadowlands, you just like, either in this case, your anima just gets stolen, or you just like dissolve into pure anima. And Ursoc got so fucked, man. He died in the War of the Ancients, protecting Azeroth. He gets resurrected again in Wrath of the Lich King by the Furbolgs, trying to bring their god back, but he's corrupted because Vordrasil has been corrupted by Yogg-Saron. He comes back again in Legion, trying to defend the world, and gets corrupted again, and then gets killed in the Nightmare Raid. And then he can't even get an afterlife. He gets fucking absorbed because Ardenweald's dying. Dude. That was fucking good, man. Like, I'm glad we're back to the good animations being, like, amazing story-wise again, because... So that guy's name is Ara'lon, and, let me just look him up real quick, because I guarantee you he's, like, a quest giver somewhere. But I don't remember him off the top of my head. Oh, yeah, here he is. He's a Sylvar. I keep mixing up the Sylvar and the Fawns when I reference them as a race, so if I did that earlier, that's probably what happened. So his grove is Tir na Nok, which, oh shit. Isn't Tir na Nok the dungeon? Oh no, Tir na Scythe is the dungeon, I think. Wait, which one is the dungeon? I don't want to be mistaken. The Mists of Tir na Scythe. I'm sorry. I knew it was Tir na something, obviously. But, man, that was good. So let me go back to Arlon's page. I'm looking at Wikipedia right now, if you're curious. Yeah, Tir na Nok had the soul of Ursoc. Man, I could have sworn that when I was watching... There's a Covenant storyline, questline. Wow, say that sentence 3 times fast. There's a questline when you pick the Night Fae where you're reenacting stuff from the past. And I was positive that I remember seeing Ursoc in the audience, but he's dead. Because I'm looking at one of the quests that Ara'lon gives, and he talks about how everyone's dead in his grove, like, permanently. So that sucks. The Winter Queen is maybe my favorite out of the Covenant leaders. Actually, well, we don't know who the Primus is, but the biggest theory, and the one that I also subscribe to, is that the Primus is the Rune Carver, or the Rune Sage, whatever they end up finally calling him. The dude that makes the legendaries in Torghast, because he looks just like the statue of him. And the Rune Carver / Rune Sage, he looks very strikingly different compared to everything else in Torghast. And he looks very Maldraxxan in design. So a big theory is that for some reason the jailer captures the Primus and brings him to Torghast. Probably because it seems to be that the Primus is the one who made the Helm of Domination and Frostmourne. So maybe he was necessary. Like, we don't know how long it's been since he disappeared. So maybe the jailer's big, I set this plan up all along, was he forced the Primus to make Frostmourne and the Helm, all in his plan to begin seizing power many, many years ago in the storyline. But now that I think about it more, the Crestia of the Kyrians is cool. The Primus we don't really know much about yet. Denathrius is cool, but he's a villain. So I think the Winter Queen is my favorite, and I remember seeing some theories from some people that maybe she's actually evil. And in that one shot where she like shows up behind Ara'lon for a second, I was thinking in my head, I almost said it, but stuff was happening too fast. I almost said like, oh, she looks very nefarious right there. But then they show her close up, and she has tears in her eyes, and I could tell that. And they've kind of said this in like the description. Oh my god. Stop this. They've kind of said this in the description of her character in Ardenweald, that she presents this really stoic face because she's trying to figure out how to save the save Ardenweald in its entirety, but she's making like great sacrifices, and I'm glad to see that they show her having emotions over the fact that she has to kill. She's who knows how many wild gods she's killed at this point to save Ardenweald. I can't believe, man, Ursoc. I never really cared that much about him, but dude, when Legion ended, at least I thought, because you see him in the Emerald Dream after the Legion after the nightmare raid's over, and he's like, "Yes, I'm finally free," or whatever he says, and I was like, "Oh my God, this dude that's died 3 times is finally gonna catch a break," and then he can't even get that, and it's like, dude, that sucks. That was super cool. See, unlike the last one, this one was both interesting in terms of characters, because Ara'lon is a super fascinating character voiced by a really cool voice actor, and I want to see more of him in the game, so they passed it on that muster. And also, it very clearly sets up the storyline of Ardenweald in a way that's obvious, and even if you don't know spoilers from the beta, you can tell what the story is going to be in that zone. Because, see, that was great. I would put that on par with the Bastion one. And the Bastion one is riding very hard on the fact that it has Uther and Arthas as, like, super nostalgia fuel with it. And I liked Bastion, so that's not a criticism. But I would say that this is as good as that, and it didn't have any of that. In fact, the biggest character is a very minor wild god whose story is getting killed in the franchise. But that was cool. Man, I wish Ardenweald was more involved in the Covenant storylines, because then it's disappointing. Because on its own, the Covenant storyline of Ardenweald, of the Night Fae, is good by itself, unlike the other 3, which you kind of need to play all 3 of them to get the full picture. But on its own, the Ardenweald one is good. It's just completely detached from, like, the rest of the story, and it feels it's weird. I don't know why this is what they did, because... And I'm surprised in this that the Wild Hunt, they didn't even, like, show the Drust, which are, like, the villain of the Ardenweald storyline. And you discover that they're involved with the whole anima is being drained in Ardenweald. I'm not going to spoil what the actual thing is, but they're involved in that plotline, and that's not even a spoiler. Blizzard talked about the Drust coming back in Ardenweald, and you can put 2 and 2 together. But I'm surprised they didn't show them here, because the Drust are still a terrible faction, and they're boring, and they came out of nowhere, and they didn't matter. And I was hoping that they could get a little bit more development, and based on everything I've seen from the beta, not really. They don't really progress them at all, which is sad. But this was great. The Wild Hunt, I'm never going to be able to divorce my hearing of the Wild Hunt from Witcher, but this is pretty cool, and I am very interested in what's going to happen next with the Revendreth one, because, man, I don't know who because they showed Malfurion in this, and I did not expect Ursoc to be in this, because I think they kind of spoiled a lot of things from the other animations when they first did their preview, and they showed little clips from each 4 of them. Like, we knew it was going to be about Uther seeing Arthas, and we knew it was going to be about Draka seeing the ziggurat explode. And for the next one, it seems to be that they've spoiled that you're going to see Garrosh for a second. But for this one, they didn't show us Ursoc at any point. They only showed Ara'lon for like a split second, saying, like, for Ardenweald, I believe, is what the clip they used in the preview. So I was not expecting that, and that was great. I really liked it. I don't really have much more to say to that, other than it was fantastic. It gave me the feels, and I didn't expect it to get the feels. But, yeah, I'm really excited for Revendreth, and it would be super cool if we did get a 5th animation. I don't even know what I wanted about. I don't want Sylvanas to get another fucking animation. Because I assume they would want to do one about, like, the Maw. Ooh, what if they did, like, an Arthas one? That would be pretty cool. I have to say, to be perfectly honest, I've always contended that Arthas shouldn't come back at all, and I still kind of feel that, but my hatred for Sylvanas, just overall, as, like, how much I think she's ruining the franchise, supersedes everything else, that I kind of want him to come back just so he can help us kill her. I think it'd be super poetic that a pure, uncorrupted Arthas gets redeemed only to kill Sylvanas the second time. Like, that would be really hilarious. Oh my god, in the Schadenfreude, it would be amazing on the forums. That'd be awesome. But I don't know. I guess Arthas would be the most unexpected, but I don't know who else could be in the Maw, because I'm assuming it would have to be about the Maw. I guess maybe not, because Murad really wasn't about any of the warlords. It was more about his personal backstory, so who knows. But anyway, that was great. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. But until then, stay awesome. I'll see you next week for maybe the finale with Revendreth. And yeah, stay awesome. Farewell.